start the parade. Start.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
How do you balance your household budget? Do you splurge beyond your means, or do you prioritize and save? Most Americans realize the importance of a balanced budget in their own lives. However, the federal government must see their budget differently. But it's at the taxpayer's expense. As of today, our nation has accumulated $19.9 trillion worth of debt, and it continues to grow each and every single day. This issue affects every single citizen. An individual person can only live beyond their means for so long before everything comes crashing down. The same goes for the government. I believe the federal government has lived beyond its means for way too long at the taxpayer's expense. According to Forbes magazine in 2015, the debt owed by each citizen is $151,000. That, or enough to buy a home, if you want to put it into everyday terms. In 2004, it was $72,000 per person, but within 10 years, it's almost doubled, and in 2019, it's also expected to rise as well. Today, I would like to first explain the correlation of the government spending over time with the general emphasis of the early 2000s through this present time. Second, I would urge you to call and write your congressmen and senators to pressure them into taking the national debt more seriously. But let's start first with how the government spends money. As the federal government grows in power, so too does its spending. According to the Congressional Budget Office, also known as the CBO, federal spending seems to remain stable up until the Civil War and World War I. But as you notice, World War II, we see a drastic increase. This is due to the massive cost of World War II, along with President Roosevelt's New Deal for the American people, which included Social Security and Medicare for the less unfortunate. Excuse me. Sorry about that. According to the CBO in 2016, Social Security cost taxpayers $910 billion, with Medicare and Medicaid surpassing that at $956 billion. A total of $186 trillion out of the $3.9 trillion spent. In 2016, the government only brought in $3.3 trillion in tax revenue, adding another $500 billion to the deficit. Now that we know about the federal spending problem, how do we solve it? The national debt may not be on the forefront of everyone's minds, but it should be. It affects every single one of us and our future generations. The economy continues to struggle under the tremendous weight and the debt that we've consumed. It will not be an easy task by any means, but we can solve this debt crisis. Ed Murray said, quote, "Left unchecked, in the long run, these realities could have catastrophic effects on our economy, including inflation, higher interest rates, unfavorable exchange rates, transfer of future income to foreign investors, and perhaps even the threats to our national security." End quote. The bigger the debt grows, the more of an impact it will have on all of us in our daily lives. In Raina Fahar's article, she describes the job industry as such. Quote, "The jobs being created aren't like the ones we've lost. While 2/3 of the jobs during the recession were middle-income jobs, about half of those created since have been in the low-wage sectors like tourism, hospitality, and retail sales." End quote. Meaning, the government intervention of both the bank and the car industry has done nothing for the economy except for add to the debt. It's also hard to understand the impact of the federal debt when schools aren't teaching it to their students. According to Anad Murray's article, 85% of teachers in their study confirm that they do not have an in-depth curriculum on the federal budget, national debt, and the budget deficit. I hope the information provided today helps weigh out how serious the federal deficit is. All in all, us as citizens have to plan and manage our budgets. The government should be expected to do the same with our taxpayer dollars. If you spend beyond your means in your daily life, you can end up losing everything. The same goes for our country. We can all play our part in helping tackling the debt so future generations don't inherit it. First, we need to take a deeper look at what our government is spending money on and chisel away at programs such as Social Security and Medicare, which makes up over half of our federal spending budget. Next, we need to become financially independent of these programs and hold lawmakers responsible for balancing the federal budget. Tackling the debt will not be an easy challenge, but it is possible. The easiest thing we as citizens can do is contact our congressmen and senators. You can write, email, call, or go to a local town hall meeting where they're looking to speak with the citizens in their districts. I have a slide here. For the district that I live in, it's the 8th Congressional District, so Brian Fitzpatrick would be your U.S. Congressman to contact. And for the state of Pennsylvania, Pat Toomey and both Bob Casey are the ones representing Pennsylvanians. The second step will take much more hard work and determination, though. We as citizens depend on the government for things such as medical care and retirement funds. These dependencies also play a major role in the deficit. We need to achieve more financial independence and get educated and start saving when we're younger, because if we don't, the consequences of the federal debt will be catastrophic. Thank you.